Hey, deserving listeners, Natalia Grace. Let's continue watching.
Hi.
All right, so they're having another meeting, another sit down between Michael and Natalia, and the first thing of note is his outfit. You know, obviously people can wear whatever they want to for the most part, but given the scenario, why this? I don't know what his shirt says exactly, but backwards ball cap? Because you know he thought about it, he knew it was going to be filmed. Now maybe he'll tell us why. The other thing is, you would just think that you would, he said earlier that he would like to apologize. Okay, so let's see what happens. I already role-played from what I imagined to be the truth, what he should be saying here, what someone with, well, what I was going to say was someone with half a heart would say, but as I've also said earlier, public statements by people who probably know that they did something wrong are often subpar, in my opinion. Will Smith's apology, at least the one that I saw, the initial one, I don't know if he's talked about it beyond that, but that very short video, I think it was like 10 minutes or something, did not really address the issue. I mean, it was better than others, like Bill Clinton, his apology was horrible. You know, Donald Trump's apology was horrible. Yeah, and I wonder what that is, because apologies are presumably something that we learn very early in life, and remorse is very common. You know, it's denial and all these, justification worries about being canceled or implicated or something. But anyway, so you just think he would apologize to you, because I'm guessing the story is, I wanted to adopt you. I loved you. You were this cute little child that was in need, and I wanted to help you. I wanted to raise you. I wanted to be with you. I loved you. And then there were some behaviors from you that were concerning, but I didn't know what to do. We took you to some therapists, but really, Christine, unbeknownst to me, really, she just went on this mission, I think, to get rid of you. We can get into that, and she was terrifying to me, and I'm kind of a people pleaser, so I'm always like, I know now that I defer to authority, and I saw her as my authority. And so that doesn't excuse it. I should have been the adult, but I deferred to her, and I went along with her plan. That doesn't exonerate me, but it does, I think, provide a context. And for that, I apologize to you a million times for all the mistreatment. I should have done something. I should have saved you. I should have called the police. I should have just gathered you up and taken you away. I should have done something, and I didn't. And then at some point, I actually became convinced that you actually were 22. And I thought maybe you were this evil monster, Christine was very good at convincing me of that. And now when I look at everything, I think, I don't know. So I didn't have any reason to believe she was lying all the time. I didn't know. It doesn't exonerate me. I was the adult. You were 4. You were 6. It wasn't your fault. It was my fault. And it keeps me awake every night. Something like that. Let's see what he says.
It's difficult to understand. But after 15 plus years of being put down and degraded and controlled and threatened, I didn't have any strength at all to stand up to her. I wish I did.
Yeah, that could be. It still doesn't, in a lot of people's minds, exonerate him from not doing something to save her, to save Natalia. I've been trying to find data, and I'm guessing we're not going to get it, that will help me to land somewhere on the spectrum between full responsibility and no responsibility. We know of situations where we would not hold someone accountable for their actions, even though they're an adult, because of the abuse and or gaslighting that they've been through for a long time, and the threat to their life or the ongoing threat for thinking for themselves, cult members, victims of intimate partner violence of a severe nature, we wouldn't necessarily hold them accountable, or at least I wouldn't. Maybe a little bit, it depends on the situation. And I keep trying to figure that out. The way that it looks like he is the sort of person that is very people-pleasing, very dependent, not extremely, but enough, and that she was controlling and would manipulate. But it didn't look, all the data that we've heard, it didn't look like the sort of thing where he had no mind of his own and he had no sense of agency. It seemed like he did have enough agency, enough sense of himself and his own thoughts and his own freedom. Do we believe that he would have thought reasonably that Christine would have done something horrible if he had threatened divorce? And, a common story would be that he just goes to her and says, look, what you're doing to Natalia is not right. And I've already tried to talk with you about it. I'm guessing it's not going to go well, but I'm here to tell you that if things don't change, I will leave and I will take Natalia, which I'm guessing you won't mind because I don't think you like her. So let's just he could have said something like that, or he could have built up to something like that, right? Or he could have gone to a therapist himself or somebody and just said, I don't know what to do. What do we do here? We don't hear any evidence of that. And so I think that he is culpable, absolutely. But I don't want to blame a victim for having taken action under someone else's intimidation. So I don't have a lot of data to go off of. What do you think?
Wish I did. I didn't. You ever seen the movie Monsters, Inc.?
Yes.
You know how the same monster goes through bunches of doors and all these kids around the world have the same monster, but they don't know it? Mm-hmm. We had the same monster, and we didn't know it. For years.
So it kind of looks like the way the conversation is going that he's like an older brother or something, the way that he's talking. And I think that will rub a lot of people wrong, including me. There's a chance that psychologically, given whatever he went through, which we have heard nothing about in his early childhood, that he actually sees himself that way. It doesn't release him from responsibility, but it could even be why he wore this outfit, if you want to call it that. So his shirt says Slide. So I think it's like a zoo t-shirt or something. And he wants to be seen that way, maybe. Who knows? It doesn't exonerate him, but it does maybe explain the vibe. An older brother wouldn't feel necessarily super, well, I don't know, even an older brother would, and they usually do, unfairly, older siblings will often blame themselves for not stepping in, right? So that analogy doesn't even hold up. So I'm guessing she's crying because the flippant nature of his explanation, or she's reminded of what she went through, or she's opening her heart to saying, like, why didn't you take me away? Let's see what she says.
Everybody that knows me, we don't call her by Christine. Matter of fact, I hate the word. I don't like the word. I don't like hearing the word.
Yeah, just stop it. Just ask her a question, or talk to her. You're not equals. You weren't like siblings being attacked by this monster. You were part of the problem, and you were an adult. Like, read the room. And this Monsters Inc. thing, and I guess so. This is pointing in the direction of someone that doesn't understand responsibility. Because we can all feel it, and you would think he would feel it because he has hopefully some affection for her that still remains. But even just another human being, anyway, it's just like, my goodness, dude, what are you doing?
Her name's Evil. Every now and then I'll call.
And the thing is she knows that Christine is abusive or evil, whatever word you want to put to it. So move on. There are other topics of concern. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So I've found that most people would benefit by getting things off of their chest. With all the pressures that we're under, it just feels good to get some relief now and then, you know? It especially feels good if someone is there to listen to us, someone who really cares about us. And, you know, keeping these things bottled up can cause various problems. Along these lines, therapy can be a wonderful place to talk openly about what is plaguing us. I mean, one of the main reasons I became a therapist is because when I was 19, I wanted to get things off of my chest. I had friends and family to talk to, but I found that I wanted to talk to a third party, an objective third party, like a therapist. Well, one place you can find a therapist is BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, it's definitely worth giving a try. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Kirk today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Kirk.
And then this is going to sound silly. I'm afraid of what I don't know. Like, I know a little, I don't know a lot.
What do you know?
It's a very long answer.
Yeah, I think he wants to avoid answering because then he will have to answer as to why he didn't do anything or why he stayed, right? And just claiming that he's an abuse victim, I think only goes so far.
That could take us a week.
Just the highlights.
And good for Natalia for just being calm and asking the questions. It's very poised.
Golly,
Now, there's a chance that he, well, no, I was going to say there's a chance that he doesn't want to remember because they're difficult. During this round of interviewing, he was more than ready to tell other people. So yeah, I would imagine he feels guilty and he doesn't want to admit what he knows. Because again, if he really did think of himself as an abuse victim that had no power, then he wouldn't have a problem saying, yeah, I saw all sorts of stuff. I saw this, I saw that, and I did speak up about it, but then she beat the living crap out of me or she threatened to kill me and she, whatever, But the fact that he's hesitating, I don't know. It's hard to know, but it could point toward a part of his conscious mind that understands that he is in trouble, and so he's just avoiding.
Is being very careful whether he's worried about a court of law, civil or criminal, or just, the court of public opinion, to use a cliche. It just seems like he's been advised by his attorney to steer clear or not admit any kind of liability or incriminate you in any way.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. And that would be smart to consider. Whether he's guilty or not, it would be normal for someone to be careful about implicating themselves. But he already has said so much on camera, so if he says it in front of her or not in front of her, it doesn't matter. Plus, there are ways of answering this question without getting specific. You'd be like, well, I remember, that one time with that one thing. Do you remember that? Or I don't want to say things that you don't remember, because I don't want you to remember them. So if I allude to, there's ways to say something. Or, hey, Natalia, I don't want to say anything along these lines because if I say something, then Christine might come after me or I might get blamed or something. But I just want to say I saw some really, really horrible things. And because I'm thinking that Natalia isn't actually interested in what he remembers. I think she wants to establish that he did see things. And then I think she has a follow-up question, which is, why didn't you help me?
I'm so afraid of the things I don't know about. And I don't want to know the things I don't know about because I know they're all terrible.
Oh, it's so aggravating. Okay, it's possible that he's being genuine right now, but you know what she's getting at, I think. I mean, I don't really know what she's getting at, really, but I'm guessing I know what she's getting at. And I'm guessing he knows what she's getting at. And he's avoiding and he's resorting to this woe is me thing right now. Like, read the room, understand that this is a child, your child. You did not get abused as much as Natalia did. There's no way. By Christine, anyway. So, yeah, this idea of just like, oh, we're in the same boat. What?
Just not know that there's such horrible things in the world. But life doesn't give us those opportunities.
Well, and just seeing this squeamishness, it throws everything into question as to what he said, because we've seen this before, and there are times that I've said, I think on camera, where I'll say, well, you know, it's quite possible that this is genuine, but he amps it up because of his personality issue of, I don't know if it's histrionic, I can't evaluate him over the internet, but some sort of need to amplify things. And I would think, though, that underneath it there was genuineness. But now you wonder if the whole time, you know, maybe it was true that she was abusive to him somewhat, but he doesn't have a lot of current emotion about it, but he has to drum that up out of whole cloth, just completely fabricated, not exaggerated, but just fabricated. So as he's doing this, like, dude, this is a child. But I could see how, because his lawyer is a very strong personality, and I could see the lawyer having just talked to him 15 minutes earlier and said, do not say X, Y, and Z. Avoid getting into this. So I could see that being a factor, but at the same time, you know, where's the humanity?
I have an okay future, and maybe you've got a little of this in there too. If all of us, if everyone just stands up and says, this is what happened, this is what she did, if we do it all at the same time, she can't scream and lie her way out of it.
What is he saying? I don't understand what he's even saying. It appears that he's saying, hey, I want you to go after her so that she'll get punished. So I'll support that, but this all started with her asking you a question. Do you remember what she did to me? That's a pretty easy question to answer.
I absolutely think he suffers from PTSD as a result of his marriage. I think he still has a lot of mental trauma as a result of the loss of his marriage. And I know he believes that Christine is the reason for that.
She has screamed and screamed and screamed horrific, horrific, horrific lies.
It's also narcissistic to focus on you. You can talk with your people, your therapist, your friends. This is your child. So what about her?
It's like, I think he's just trying to get the criticism of the public off of him.
Yeah. And as with all personality disorders, the defense, in the effort of saving the self or getting away from danger, will often cause the individual to head directly into danger, because his effort to save himself and to make himself look better is making him look way worse than if he didn't do this. Even if he just avoided without the histrionics, it would be a lot less, I think, bothersome. And that's how personality disorders work. I don't know if he has one, but I'm just using this as a jumping off point. Whether it's borderline or paranoid or obsessive compulsive personality disorder or schizoid or schizotypal or narcissism, antisocial, these personality disorders are defenses. At least that's the way experts will frame them. And the defense is trying to save us from, like a classic is that with borderline, the effort of being hypervigilant about abandonment from others and maybe accusatory to others, like, hey, you're abandoning me right now. is an effort to avoid abandonment that happened in their past, but by being hostile or accusatory will push people away and cause the individual to get abandoned. With narcissism, the effort is to save the self from being ignored, irrelevant, and neglected. Because when they were 1 year of age, to be abandoned or neglected or left on your own too much, too often, was absolutely a terrifying thing for that 1-year-old child. And so the defense is, well, I don't need anybody, and I'm actually better than everybody. And so I need to avoid attachments and dependence on others and vulnerability, and I need to constantly be on the treadmill of telling myself and others that I'm superior, because that will save me from that feeling of isolation and of being neglected. And of course, that is a lifestyle of isolation and thus abandonment or just distance. But also to be braggy and annoying is to push people away. That will cause even more neglect, right? So with histrionic, it is this effort of running away from, trying to save the self from not being noticed, from being rejected, not getting attention and love and attunement. So I have to be bigger with my expressions. That's it in a nutshell for the most part. So I'm going to amp it up. But as he does that, it causes people to, I guess, pay attention to him, but not in a positive way, right? So it's pretty hard to watch. With other reality TV, there's things at stake, but not as much as what's at stake here.
Trying to use the sympathy to be like, I was victimized too, like, please don't come after me. Like, I was a victim too in this. But the thing is, for me, yes, you were a victim, but you also was the perpetrator.
Yeah, and Natalia's coming across as the most mature, wise, good person among everybody. I mean, Jacob seems like a nice guy too. But the fact that she can have that nuance, she would have every reason to hate him thoroughly and to throw him under the bus. But, she sees, hey, yeah, I get it. You were abused too. She gives him that. And she would know because she was there. So that lends credibility to that. But she's also like, and it's like, so. Okay, well, tune in next time when I continue watching if you care to. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really do.